In Oddworld Soulstorm, this is your cue to stop watching if you don't want anything spoiled. In both the good and bad endings, Molluck The Glukkon has the ultimate aim, once Abe has been dealt with, of escaping to the Yaymans to hide out from the pursuing Magog cartel. The Yaymans are described as a popular tourist spot on Oddworld, however, not a lot is known about the Yaymans. As far as I can tell, they were first mentioned in Oddworld Soulstorm, although weirdly I seem to get this bizarre Mandela effect when I heard Molluck say, "We head to the Yaymans." I was sure I'd heard of him before, and for some reason I imagined it being a dangerous mountainous region, but I have no idea where I got that image from. In reality, the Yaymans are actually a tropical paradise, and are based on the real-life Cayman Islands, also known as the Caymans, which is a British overseas territory, and likewise a popular tropical tourist location located in the Caribbean. The name is literally one letter away, and plus the picture of the Yaymans seen in the financial newspaper in Oddworld Soulstorm looks remarkably like the Caymans. As a result, it can be assumed that the Yaymans are a group of islands, potentially, but for some reason my mind keeps telling me it's not. I don't know why, I just have this feeling, but yeah. The picture of the Yaymans does seem to look a lot like an island though, so I think it's highly probable that, just like the Caymans, the Yaymans are tropical islands. In terms of landscape, the Yaymans appears to contain a ton of beautiful forest, and some massive beaches surrounded by beautiful bright blue tropical water. The beaches are described by the Pilot Slig as being humid, as you'd expect from a tropical paradise, and he mentions sipping frosty paladas on the beach, which I guess is like the Oddworld equivalent of pina coladas. I mean, it's basically just a short way of saying pina colada. In fact, it might even be an actual abbreviation for pina colada. I've just never heard of that, so I'm assuming it's like the Oddworld equivalent instead. I've looked on the map of Moodos and attempted to see any locations that might potentially be the Yaymans by comparing to the real life Caymans, and there's quite a lot of islands around Moodos, so you know, it could be any of them really, but my best guess, and I'm just literally just theorising here, is these couple of islands here. I don't know why, it just seems like a good place, you know, enough distance from Soulstorm Brewery and everywhere else in the game that Molluck's been, most of which has been left in a blaze of destruction thanks to Abe. Away from all these facilities of the Magog cartel, but also not too far from the brewery, that it'd seem unrealistic that he'd go from there to the Yaymans. Like, he's not crossing the entire continent, which is massive, to get on the other side of Moodos or something. Plus, as it's popular with tourists, it seems like it'd be a reasonable distance to go for a holiday. Considering the Yaymans is a popular tourist spot and not some remote location in the middle of nowhere, the financial newspaper notes that it's an odd choice for Molluck to go in order to lay low. However, the Cayman Islands are a major offshore tax financial haven for the super rich and wealthy as well as their businesses, and as a result I'd imagine the Yaymans are too, and therefore they arguably would be quite a good place, I'd imagine, for someone like Molluck to hide out to some degree. It sort of makes sense that a businessman like Molluck would go there. Perhaps he even has connections there. I can certainly imagine there being tons of Glukkons laying low in this kind of area, especially considering it's presumably a group of islands, and thus not connected to the rest of this massive continent. I mean, the Magog cartel of airships, so it's probably not a massive deal, but still it's an extra layer of protection in terms of hiding from them, I suppose. Overall, it seems like a place that would have many wealthy, connected individuals, and no doubt a lot of them are dealing in some shady business, and therefore there's probably actually quite a few hideouts around the area. Aside from it just being a relaxing place to be, it just seems like somewhere someone like Molluck would choose to experience the easy life while laying low. The Yaymans must be a pretty darn good place to be, I tell you what, considering Aslick and Mr. Morgul's Sligs are willing to betray their masters and go on the run with Molluck and lay low in the Yaymans until their predicament blows over. That being said, the Magog cartel are ruthless and will hunt Molluck throughout Oddworld to make him face convictions and likely be executed by a firing squad. They won't stop, and Molluck is unlikely to experience a peaceful end. Considering the financial newspaper reported that he's rumoured to be headed to the Yaymans, I can't imagine he'll be able to be there for long, as the people who hold him responsible gain on him. It'll be interesting to see in the future of Oddworld if we hear about or even see the resulting events and find out more about the Yaymans.
Hello, follow me.